To watch the latest movie reviews and PR activities, subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell icon. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to People's Voice Season 4 in collaborations with Teacher. Teacher has three loves: love of learning, love of learners, and the love of bringing the first two loves together. Whoever said it beautifully. Today's our guest as well is someone who is lovely, joyful, and vibrant teacher. I would love to talk about her a bit more, a lot more, when she is in the chat room. But till then, let's chat together. Hi, how are you all doing? Hey Mumbai Mami, how you doing? Thank you for joining in. Thank you for all your comments, feedback so far you have given us. And that's the thing that keeps me motivated and to come up with the amazing speakers, teachers, and with the people's voice all together. So I'm just waiting now for her to join in so that we can begin this session. I don't realize that it's almost your sixth speaker today. We are towards the end of season 4. I hope you all are enjoying watching People's Voice with Teachers. And now I can see she is in the chat room. Hey, I'm Cozy. How you all doing? Let me just send her an invite.
Hey, Surprise.
Hey Lisa, finally you joined.
Hello.
Hi. Before we start our conversation, let me just quickly introduce you to all our viewers. Lisa Waite, Associate Lecturer, Sultan Qaboos University, Oman. A well-experienced teacher, worked in Kuwait for AUK 5 years, 2 years in Uttar State University, and now more than 3 years in Sultan Qaboos University in Oman. She is an exuberant, light-hearted, kind-hearted personality, and it was my pleasure to know her personally through Toastmasters. A warm welcome to you, Lisa, on People's Voice.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Same here, Lisa. Lisa, understand from your bio, which you have sent me, that you taught courses in television production, photography, script writing. Then what happened that you switched to academic teaching?
Well, the courses I taught with television production and script writing and all of that were part of an academic program for people getting a degree in television production. So that was at a university. So that was my very first professional teaching job, which was in the program I had just graduated from 5 years earlier. So I had gotten my degree and then left the state to go work elsewhere and got a master's degree and then came back and taught in the program. So it was an academic program. It was just not English per se.
Okay, and that's how you got into the main profession where you are teaching English now, since then.
Well, you know how when you're real little and somebody says, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, that was me. I said, I want to be a teacher.
Okay.
And that was always my heart's desire, was to be a teacher. But unfortunately, when I was getting ready to graduate from high school, the old white male counselor, his name was Howard Bale.
Okay.
And Mr. Bale looked at me and he said, oh, what do you want to do, be unemployed? And I said, no, I don't want to be unemployed. And he said, your parents don't have much money. You need to get a job. You need to get a degree where you can get a job. And I said, I can't be a teacher. And he said, you're a white female. They don't want you in the schools. They don't want you. There's no jobs for you. So I had been on the journalism team. And so I went into journalism. And from journalism, I went into television production. And from television production, I got a master's in communications. And once I had that master's in communications, I went right back to teaching. So I always tell people, follow your heart. Don't listen to your parents. Don't listen to an old counselor. Listen to your heart. So I got into teaching because that's what I was supposed to be.
Okay, that was an interesting journey to begin as a teacher and get into a teaching profession.
Yep.
Lisa, I know that you have taught now. Everyone knows that you have taught in the States, and you are working almost 10 years in the Middle East. So what's the difference you find in teaching process there and in the Middle East? There I meant the United States. What's the difference between the both the region?
Well, I'll answer that in two parts. One, if I'm teaching middle school or high school in the United States, or if I'm teaching ESL in the United States, or in Kuwait, or in Oman. English as a second language is basically the same, whether I was in Kuwait or Oman or in Utah. The main differences is who my students are. So when I taught ESL at Michigan State University, my best experience, hands down, because in my classroom of 20 students, I would have 15 different countries represented and a great variety. So I would have Colombians and Koreans and Chinese and Arabs from Saudi and Arabs from Oman and Arabs from Bahrain, and it was a huge variety. And so Michigan State really allowed that, and that was my very first ESL teaching job. And it was that Michigan State teaching job that I got that led me to working overseas, to get overseas teaching experience. So then when you go into Kuwait, there's some diversity, but it's Gulf, right? So it's Iranians, Iraqis, Lebanese, it's Gulf, with the exception of a couple of embassy kids.
True. So it was between the Arabs in Kuwait. It was mainly Arab, but from the different countries.
Right. And now I'm in Oman and I have no diversity. I have 100% Omanis. So, and in Utah, I basically taught athletes. So there were, I had tall basketball players. I had fast soccer players. I had students from all over the world that were athletes. So that came with its special challenges. And Kuwait were mostly Arab students. And then Oman is mostly it is all Oman students. But if I compare teaching in American middle school and high school, of course, then I had students basically from Michigan, right? So if you lived in this geographic region, you went to this school. So it's all still teaching. It's just a matter of what subjects you teach and who you're teaching to. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. You meant that there is not much difference in teaching process. More or less, everything is same everywhere. It just students are quite different. It's completely diverse group in Utah and in Kuwait. Diversity among Arabs, and in Oman, it's completely Omani. You perfectly answer my question.
Okay, good.
Lisa, teaching is a profession which is selfless, full of gratitudeness, and it's such a thankful job for all of us. But I am sure there must be some drawback. So if you can share one drawback and one of the best things about being a teacher, that would be great.
I would say the drawback can be autonomy and the fact that sometimes we have to do something just because we get told we have to do it. So even though you know that this is not going to benefit your student, you have to do it because you're being told you have to do it. Whereas if you have complete autonomy, you can say, I don't have to waste my time doing this. The student can already do it. We can skip this and move forward. So autonomy is probably the drawback. And as far as the benefit, I say that the pay is our student relationships. COVID times have been hard with online. It really, really stinks because the best part of teaching gets taken away. You don't get to form the relationships with the students in the classroom. You can't look at somebody and see that they're confused. You can't even just tell that they're having a bad day. You can't pick on them. If you see they're distracted, you can't go, hey, Abdullah, where are you? Come on, back. You know, you can't pull them back. So online teaching has really taken away all the relationship building. But the pay still, the benefit is when students remember you. So I literally got a WhatsApp message on Christmas Day, and I particularly love it when Muslim students honor my religion and my faith, right? So you have a Muslim young man that left me a WhatsApp message on Christmas Day telling me that he's never, I had him like 2 years ago. He goes, do you remember me? I'm so-and-so and such, and it's Christmas, and I know that's a special holiday, and I just wanted to tell you how much I loved and appreciated you, and Merry Christmas. And for a former student to reach out like that, that's why you teach.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Lisa, talking about relationship with students, being with teachers, how being a teacher made a difference in your personal life?
Well, I don't know about making a difference, but I know that when I've had jobs where I'm not teaching, I'm really unhappy. Like I'm depressed, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm just not in my giftedness. But when I can be teaching, I don't feel stress. I mean, there's a lot of work to do, but it's not hard work for me. I try to take, one day off where I don't do any work at all, but it's not a big deal for me to work 4 hours on a Saturday afternoon, making sure I have everything ready for Sunday morning. It's not work. So for me, I like to say that I think everybody has part of their spirit that is what they're supposed to be when they grow up, right? Yes. And if you are working within that giftedness, if you're in that giftedness, the difference is that your life is just happy. It's pleasurable because you're doing what God made you to do. And you know if you're there because you're happy doing your work. I'm not happy all the time. And there's sometimes I get really upset at students for, a multitude of reasons. Yeah, but I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
True. We are human beings. We cannot be happy all the time. There are mood swings. There are days where we are low down. But you have said rightly that when you love what you do, you don't feel that you are working.
Right.
Yeah. Lisa, you have been in this field for almost 2 decades now. So you have gone through all the changes, the amendments in the teaching process. So if I ask you what changes you have seen 10, 15 years ago and what the changes are now in teaching process, how it is different then and now?
The teaching process is not different. You teach, you repeat, you repeat, you repeat, you teach, you repeat until the students learn. That hasn't changed. What has changed in the teaching field is definitely the one word of technology. So it's been a big shift from literally my first classroom had an overhead projector where we wrote on overheads and they were projected up on the field, on the wall. And now we have computers in all the rooms, and now of course we're online. So this was a big learning year for me and many teachers, going 100% online. I mean, I've dabbled online before, but putting everything into Google Classroom, making photocopies of all the worksheets. I didn't have to do that anymore. I could just post it once on Google Classroom. The downside of that is I can't make the students do it, right? So in the classroom, I could say, now we're going to do this. And I could make sure they were doing it, and I could answer questions. And now I have to say, do this at home. And it's very difficult if you don't have a printer at home. You're just kind of looking at it and going, and check the answers and like, yeah, I got it. So it's difficult, but the number one thing, hands down, has been technology, and particularly here in Oman. Oman's a big, huge country, and there's a lot of students that live on the other side of mountains in little teeny tiny villages that have very poor internet. So it's been a real challenge for this country to have online learning.
True, true. Technology is something that it keeps changing. Like because of technology, not 2 days are same. So I'm sure the differences that technology has brought in teaching world must be really huge. I'm sure, like everything, it does have its advantages and some drawbacks. Lisa, with that, we are almost towards the end of this session. But before you leave, lastly, a pearl of advice to share with our viewers, especially for those teachers who are listening, watching to you.
For teachers, I guess my pearl of wisdom would simply to be human. I tell the students every time I make a mistake, see, I'm showing you teachers are not perfect. When you can be human in front of your students, that's step one to building relationships. And relationships are the reason that hopefully you are a teacher. They can get knowledge anyway, but in order for you to form that connection, so that maybe someday a student will remember you in 10 years, 15 years later, when they write their thesis sentence, or they write their summary statement, or maybe when they're working on their PhD. I had a Saudi student recently contact me, and I taught him back in like 1990. And he wrote to me and he said, I just completed my PhD and I followed the formula that you taught me. And I was his very first teacher in ESL at Michigan State. His name's Hashim. And he found me and he wanted to let me know that he used that same formula. So the fact that he remembered the formula and me, that's priceless. So be human with the students, be real, and form those relationships.
Lovely, Lisa. Very well said. Be human, irrespective of your profession. You will enjoy your profession slowly and steadily. With that, thank you so much, Lisa, for giving your time on People's Voice and sharing a bit of advice, your wisdom, experiences with all of us. Thank you so much, Lisa.
You're welcome. Nice to see you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Same here. Take care. Bye-bye. That was amazing teacher Lisa Waite. I had an amazing time talking to her. And if you have any question, like I always say, do comment, or you can send me private message asking for the question, your query, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. But for all my viewers who are watching this video, remember, our teachers will open the door, but you must enter by yourself to make your dream a reality. With that, signing off, Naseema Khan, People's Voice. Take care, stay safe, stay indoor as much as you can. Bye-bye.